The following is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past. There we go. Come out of vacation that way, Ron. Present and or future. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Ron Zucker. Welcome to the program, the 12th day of July 2023. Before we get into what we're playing today, as we're coming off our vacation and having the final month of the regular season of our 2001 Action PC Replay season overview, whatever that was terrible, Ron. Just wanted to let you guys know that we are not used to being the top story on the nightly news of the network of your choice, and that my wife and I are fine. With the flooding that has hit my state of Vermont very hard was east of the Green Mountains. As most of you know, I'm in Burlington, which is west of the Green Mountains and on Lake Champlain. My mom is fine, and my family is fine. There are quite a few towns that are not fine, and it will take a few days to find out how unfine or how unwell they are. And luckily, as of this morning, there had been no deaths associated with some flooding. We've had our third 100-year flood in the last 30 years, essentially. 10 inches of rain in some areas over the course of 3 days, and already on a saturated ground, and there just isn't any room for the water, and water does what it wants. And so just wanted to let you guys know that we are okay and our families are okay. And with that, we get back to the baseball for you. The Chicago Cubs and the Florida Marlins are only a half game apart. Florida is 73-65. The Cubs are 72-66. The key difference is the Marlins have a 2-game lead over Atlanta and Philadelphia in the National League East. The Cubs, well, they're 3 games out of the wild card spot behind Arizona. They're not catching Houston. They're 12 games back, and this is game 139 for both teams. So to make up 12 over the course of the last 21 would require a capitulation by the Astros that even the 78 Red Sox would blush. However, these are not no-name pitchers on the mound. It's Jesus Sanchez for the Marlins, Cruz for the Cubs. A preview of 2003, perhaps? Let's find out. Let's get back to it. It's Wednesday, September 5th, 2001, next. As Retro Sports Network presents 2001 in Action PC Season Odyssey. Today, from Pro Player Stadium in a wet Coral Gables, Florida, it's the Florida Marlins and the Chicago Cubs. And today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And it will be Jesus Sanchez on the mound for Florida. He is 4-5 with a save. I had a good time, Bernie. Thanks for... Hopefully you are doing better. The wife had a great birthday. And we had lots of food, and then it got hot, and then we've had some rain. So it's Vermont in summer, but yeah, glad to be back, and we will be with you now all the way through the rest of the season, which isn't that far away. Jesus Sanchez, speaking of which, there we go, making his last start of the year. He is 26 years old, fastball at 92, a fly ball pitcher. 4-5 with a save and an earned run average of 5.03. He is 26 years old, fastball pitcher at 92 and a fly ball pitcher. I think I said that already. Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Only if I slept that well. I get weird ones. Weird dreams. And I don't even take any illicit illegal substances. Last time that Sanchez pitched was on August 30th up at Wrigley Field in what looks to be a Wrigley Field game, a 16-12 win by the Dolphins over the Bears. 6 innings, 104 pitches. Apparently it wasn't Sanchez's fault. He allowed 5 hits, a run, it was earned. Imagine that the bullpen gives up 11 runs and you still win. a walk and 4 strikeouts to get that 4th win of the year. Overall, 53 and 2/3, 54 hits, 33 runs, 30 earned, 6 homers, as I see things flashing on my screen, 22 walks and 38 strikeouts. The lineup he'll face: Eric Young will lead off at second base for the Cubbies. Myers in center field will bat second. Sammy Sosa in right goes third. Fred McGriff cleans up at first. White in left will bat fifth. Gutierrez at short, batting sixth. Ron Coomer on the radio at third, batting seventh. Machado behind the plate and Cruz on the mound. He should throw about 115 pitches. Cliff Floyd is a 6 and a 4 and left as we set the Florida defense for you. Preston Wilson a 5 and an 8 in center, and cowboy up Kevin Millar a 2 and a 5 in right. Mike Lowell is a 4 at third. Alex Gonzalez a 5 at short. Castillo a 6 at second. Derek Lee a 7 at first for Florida, and Charles Johnson an 8 and a 6 behind the plate. Sanchez's range is good. He's a 7, and 875 isn't good for a pitcher, even for a pitcher. Eric Young at 285, 6 homers, and 44 RBIs. So the race to the World Series starts right now. Young hits a liner up into center field for a base hit, and that's how this one will start. Game 139 for the Cubs, game 139 for the Marlins. The Braves and Phils are chasing 2 games back. Here is Chad Myers, no relation to the experience of Chris Myers. This is his first at-bat of the year. Welcome to September baseball. In real life, he hit 118. Throw to first, and Eric Young is back. Myers lines this one to short. Gonzalez is there, 1 out. Young back to the bag. Here's Sammy Sosa. Sammy at 278, 40 homers and 107 RBI. Normally, you'd look at that and go, what a year. But the real life line of 328, 64, and 160, Sammy, unless he goes crazy over the next 3 weeks, isn't going to come close to 60 home runs. Struck him out. Sanchez got him on a 1-2 fastball swinging. So here's Fred McGriff over from Tampa at 275, 7 homers and 23 RBI. Sanchez delivers. There goes Young. Line drive to second. Castillo is there, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the first here at Pro Player. No score. Typical Florida crowd. Yeah, I agree. Some of these pictures that you see aren't obviously batting practice pictures and all that. Nope, that's a real game crowd from Florida. So it'll be Juan Cruz, who's having a pretty good run for the Cubbies. He is 2-0 in 3 starts with a 1.65 ERA. How you doing, John? You got baseball and Mr. J to keep you company. Well, I appreciate that. Juan, by the way, is 22. He is a ground ball plus pitcher and a fastball at 93. And unlike last night, everyone is wearing their proper uniforms. Juan's last start was a big one against the Braves on the 31st. A 3-0 team shutout where he went 61 pitches. That's not a lot. He got the win, allowed 1 hit, a walk, and 2 strikeouts, but the computer yanked him for whatever reason. 16 1/3 innings for Juan, 16 hits, 6 runs, 3 earned. He has not allowed a home run. He has walked 7. Oh dear, and struck out 13. John is waiting for a tow truck because his company vehicle broke down. So hopefully you are near a cell phone tower and can enjoy this classic between the Cubs and Marlins from September 5th, 2001. Louis Castillo will lead off for the Marlins at second base. Derek Lee at first will bat second. Cliff Floyd in the left will go third. Preston Wilson cleans up in center. Mike Lowell at third will bat fifth. Kevin Millar in right will go sixth. Charles Johnson behind the plate batting seventh. Alex Gonzalez at short goes 8th, and Jesus Sanchez threw 15 pitches, batting 9th now in his half of the first. Rondell White, a 4 and a 3 for the Cubs in left. Myers, a 3 and a 2 in center. John taking everything in stride. It is what it is. Hopefully you didn't bang the thing up and it's a mechanical breakdown and not because you had an accident. Sammy Sosa, speaking of accidents, a 6 and a 7 in right. Ron Coomer, a 3 at third. Gutierrez, a 3 at short. Eric Young is a 4. Good. Mechanical. I'm being told in my ear. Eric Young is a 4 at second. McGriff, a 4 at first. That is a bad infield in both strat and action, PC. Machado a 6 and a 5 behind the plate, and Cruz is a 5 on the mound with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Castillo stepping in at 235, a homer, and 38 RBI. Bernie says sometimes the Action PC CPU manager pulls pitchers when they should, and sometimes they let them stay and get killed. I don't. You're doing primarily just one team, right? Can't figure out why. I know that. How you doing, Big Dave? How it runs the bullpen will dictate how long a starter gets in there to visit Hannibal Lecter in the Silence of the Lambs. Just like real life. Yes, that's actually a pretty good point. Pitch to Castillo is a liner in the center field for a base hit. It is raining here in Miami or Coral Gables. It is not in Burlington. It is a warm 78-degree day here. Here's Derek Lee. Derek at 273, 13 homers and 71 RBI. Throw to first, and Castillo is back. Castillo has 33 steals on the year. There's a ground ball up the middle for a base hit. Myers will pick it up. Castillo will hold. Tony Perez has done a magnificent job with the Marlins. Whether they can hold off Atlanta and Philadelphia is another story, but right now, they are the leaders. Here's Cliff Floyd at 311, 31 homers and 104 RBI. Cruz, deep breath, and deals. Up the middle, another base hit. So Castillo will round third. Gutierrez should have it, and Florida is content to play for a bases-clearing hit of some sort. And the person attempting to do that will be Preston Wilson, hitting 274, 12 homers, and 62 RBI. A lot of things in games trying to figure out. I think that's the hardest thing in the baseball game to figure out is for an engine is fatigue. And how do you teach a competent AI to handle that? Pitch to Wilson. Preston hits a fly ball left field. That ball's got some spunk on it. Back goes White, way back there, and that's long gone. And so they played for Earl Weaver baseball, and they got not only Earl Weaver, but a grand slam to boot. A grand salami for Preston Wilson, and just like that, it's 4-0 Florida. His 13th of the year, clears the bases. That looked like as it slows way down. But that was gone from the get-go. And the Marlins go up 4-0 here with nobody out in the first inning. Why are we so sluggish? There is nothing that is running hot or high at all. So here's Lowell. Mike at 287, 15 homers and 91 RBI. Here's a ground ball to third. Coomer over to McGriff. And finally, there's one out. Brings up Millar. Kevin at 348, 19 homers. A talk show on MLB Network every night and 86 RBI. Millar chops this one young on the wet grass, throws it over to first, and Kevin is retired. I guess my standard philosophy for pulling a pitcher, and we did an entire show on this. Charles Johnson, by the way, at 228, 15 homers, and 51 RBI is, I try to give a pitcher 27 batters, 5 runs, or 10 hits. And then I kind of go by feel. And a pitcher without a lot of innings isn't going to go that much. But if the math behind the product is right, you should get close to what a pitcher should be expected to do, if that makes any sense. Pitch to Johnson. Struck him out. So Cruz, after giving up, coughs up the hair ball on the grand slam to Wilson, and then gets the next 3 batters. After one, however, Florida 4 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. It's 4-0 Marlins. So Rondell White, Gutierrez, and Coomer here in the second. Rondell, 301, 13 homers, and 49 RBI. Sanchez starts the second, line drive to Lowell, 1 out. One of the few things I don't like about replay, which is a fantastic game overall, is that it just counts batters. And I don't think that there's just an instant flip switch that goes from you've got your A stuff to all of a sudden having your B stuff or C stuff. I know that Action PC and the pitch count setting and strat, Ricky Gutierrez, by the way, at 262, 8 homers and 51 RBI, kind of simulates fatigue. Fly ball right center. Preston Wilson is there, and he makes the catch, 2 out. Ron Coomer, 264, 7 homers, and 43 RBI. Sanchez delivers. There's a fly ball to right. Millar doesn't even have to move, and the Cubs go down in order. No runs, no hits, no errors. Inning and a half in the books, 4-0 Florida. So, what do you guys think? As Alex Gonzalez, Jesus Sanchez, and Castillo will bat here in the second for Florida. Alex at 245, 16 homers, and 70 RBI. Line drive, base hit past Young. And that is the 5th hit for Florida. And so here's Sanchez. Sanchez can actually hit. He's hitting 400 with 2 RBI. So we're going to swing. We're already up 4. There's a fly ball, right center field. Myers coming in and bobbles it, but somehow Snow cones it for the catch. So I don't know if that was just a wet ball or if he closed the glove. I think he closed the glove before he had it in, and it just bounced into his bare hand. And so look what I found from Myers. So here's Luis Castillo with 1 out. He singled and scored on the Wilson Grand Slam. Cruz opening 9, an inning and a third, 5 hits, the granny by Wilson, and a strikeout. He's thrown 34 pitches. Castillo strikes out. A 1-2 in there at the knees. It's 4-0 Florida here in the bottom of the second at 7:44 p.m. on this 5th day of September 2001. Ernie says more often than not, the APC CPU will leave the starter in for its entire allotment of pitches, even if you ask the CPU to remove him after allowing 5 runs. I don't mess with any of those things, just because if you try to do that, I'm not sure it ever takes. When does football come back to this channel? Yeah. You know, Scotty, the problem is that he's even a moderator here, too. Derek Lee singled and scored his first time up. Throw to first. So Smart Alec wants an answer, okay. Pickle Rick Girl says hi. Do you need to unsub again? Okay, so I would think that the playoffs should begin around August 9th. And so we're doing... So I would imagine... Yeah, no wonder why I needed a vacation. So I'd imagine that maybe by Labor Day weekend, we'll start our next football project. Does that answer your question, Mr. Ratcast? Derek Lee singled and scored on the Wilson Grand Slam. Cruz steals, struck him out. And that'll do it. No runs, a hit. The Marlins leave a runner on. We go to the third here at Pro Player. 4-0 Florida. I usually let the fatigue engine direct me. Okay, Midlife Crisis says. I will sway from that if I pinch hit for the pitcher. That's the other thing. There's the strategy involved with that. Or if I'm looking to get to a specific matchup, usually in late games or close. I don't think there is just one right answer. Robert Machado was looking for a right answer. He's hitting 126, no homers, and 7 RBI. Popped up. Johnson behind the plate, doffs the mask, and Charles will make the catch, 1 out. For Juan Cruz, who was 0 for 6 in the replay, with a strikeout. There's a liner in the left center field. How about that? The pitcher gets a hit. So a 1-out single brings up Eric Young, who singled his first time up. Sanchez opening 9, 2 in the third, 2 hits and a strikeout. 31 pitches and no runs. Ball 4. I think anytime you deal with an AI, unless you're using a computer that plays chess, there is no right or wrong answer. You know, I think those of us who play with human intelligence, as Chad Myers, who is not doing the weather on CNN, is 0 for 1. First and second, 1 out for the Cubs here in the top of the third. I think a lot of us do it by gut feel. There's a ground ball to Gonzalez, might be 2. Castillo for 1. He flips to first, and they'll turn it. So a 6-4-3 double play, and that ends the inning. No runs, a hit, no a runner left on. Bottom of the third here in Miami, 4-0 Marlins. So Floyd, Wilson, and Lowell. And so I'm not sure how you teach an AI at this point how to do gut feel. Floyd in the left center. He scored on the Wilson Grand Slam. Myers will make the catch, 1 out. Here's Preston Wilson. Preston had that Grand Slam, as we mentioned. Now has 13 homers and 66 RBI. I mean, I'll ask Dave. Dave has a system for how he changes lines in hockey. But as a coach, how do you do that? Do you look at a specific amount of time and go from there? Do you get some sort of signal from your players? And yeah, it is supposed to be warm in Massachusetts. Oh, Digital Diamond, Midlife Crisis says, has a global setting for each season based on the tendencies of the era. To get more accurate results, you have to tweak each team's computer manager. That's something to have to bring up to Mark. Hoping he can figure out a way to export computer managers so guys can share them. That'd be nice. I did 7 replays with 83 while tweaking each manager to get as close to accurate statistical results as possible. And Dave says I go by feel with my subs in all games. I'm more of a set system in basketball because I don't use fatigue in basketball. I go by fouls and generally how many minutes they play. Pitch to Wilson. There's a ground ball left side, and that's another base hit for Preston. So he is 2 for 2. 6 hit for the Marlins. Here's Lowell, 0 for 1. That's right. AI is too busy taking over the world to worry about managing sports games. They got to keep us entertained somehow. Wilson back. Hit and run is on. There goes Wilson. Ground ball to Cruz. And he bobbles it. And so everybody's going to be saved. So E1, Cruz, again, the field is wet. On a comebacker, couldn't find a handle. So the reptilian who co-hosts the show types in the chat, I heard one of the hosts on D2D is a reptilian. Those in glass houses, my friends, should not throw stones. There's Kevin Millar. He's 0 for 1. Base hit left field. White will pick it up. Preston Wilson is there. Oh, there's no proof that it's him. So says the person who was so excited about the Godzilla channel coming to Pluto TV. Talking about E.T. phone home. John says, as we get back to the topic at hand, bases loaded, by the way, 1 out for Johnson, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. For instance, in Digital Diamond in 83 for starting pitchers, to go longer in games, but some teams, like the Indians, just have poopy starters out there outside of Sutcliffe and Blyleven. I think if I was a reptile, I'd be able to read better. No one else can go longer than 5 or 6, so their abilities don't match the computer manager. Bases loaded. Johnson strikes out. So a big out there for Cruz, and that'll bring up Gonzalez, who already has 1 grand slam on the year. He singled his first time up. Ground ball to Young. Eric will pick it up, throw to first, and the Marlins are going to leave him loaded. They do not score. They get 2 hits, and somehow the error does not hurt. After 3, it's 4-0 Florida. So Sosa, McGriff, and White to face Sanchez here in the 4th. Sammy struck out his first time up. And he'll draw the walk this time. Again, as clever and as intuitive as AI can be, again, I think gut feel is how so many of us do this as far as when to make that move. Fred McGriff, by the way, 0 for 1. Draws a walk. So he has walked again, and that's the 3rd for Sanchez. First and second, nobody out for Rondell White, who is 0 for 1. Line drive down in the corner, in left. Sosa's going to score. Floyd goes to fish it out. McGriff will round 3rd, and he's going to score. And it's now 4-2. So having the bases loaded and not scoring in the 3rd may come back to bite Florida. So McGriff on 3rd, White on 2nd for Gutierrez, who is 0 for 1. No runner on 3rd, and Gutierrez walks. So Sanchez here in the 4th has lost the script. All 6 runs in this game have come with nobody out. Here's Ron Coomer. He's 0 for 1. Sanchez and Johnson have a word. Sanchez deals. Fly ball, right field. Millar goes in the alley, makes the catch, and everybody goes back. White tags and is going to try it. So here comes the throw to 3rd. Millar with an average arm. And it's going to be closer than I thought. And there is... He is in... Oh, they got him. They got him. How about that? So a 9-5 play at 3rd. Holy Dolly Parton, 2 out for Machado, who is 0 for 1. Gutierrez moves up to 2nd. There is a lot of gambler's fallacy. Yep, that's for sure. And yes, Bernie, not scoring with the bases loaded is always a problem. There's a ground ball to third. Lowell will have it. Tosses it over to first. And that will do it. We go to the bottom of the fourth. The Cubs get 2 on a hit, no errors. After 3.5, it's Florida 4, Chicago 2. And so here are the standings this first week of September. As we said, the Marlins up by 2 over Philadelphia and Atlanta. Nobody in the East has been eliminated yet. The Mets 8.5 back in Montreal. Well, the Canadians are right around the corner. In the Central, it's Houston's world, and we're just allowed to live there. They have a 12-game lead over Chicago. In the West, San Francisco by 3.5 over Arizona, 9 over Colorado, 9.5 over the Dodgers. The wild card would be Arizona, so it would be Houston and Arizona, and Florida and San Francisco in the NL playoffs. In the American League, Yankees by the 1.5 over the Red Sox. In the Central, only 2 teams are left, Chicago and Cleveland, and Chicago has recovered from their bubble. That lead is now 8, and the magic number is 17. And in the West, Seattle at 93-46 only has a 3-game lead on Oakland. And you can see the National League stats from there. So here's Jesus Sanchez. He's 0 for 1. Cruz starts the bottom of the fourth. With strike 3, that's 5 for Juan. Full count fastball got him looking for strike 3. So 18 batters deep. Cruz has thrown 80 pitches, 3 1/3 innings, 7 hits, the grand slam to Wilson in the first, and struck out 5. Castillo 1 for 2. He has singled, scored, and struck out. Got him. That's 6 for Cruz. So with the exception of that one pitch, he has pitched well. Well, he's also given up 7 hits, so maybe not that well. Here's Derek Lee, 1 for 2. Derek has singled, scored, and struck out. Ground ball to short. Gutierrez way over by third. Throws to McGriff for the out. So, no runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the fifth, 4-2 Florida. So, speaking of football, what season would you like me to do in fast drive football? Here's Juan Cruz as we start the fifth. Juan singled his first time up. Won't do it again. Ground ball to third. Lowell over to Lee. 1 out. 81, I think that's been done with the new cards. Am I right, Dave? Eric Young singled his first time up and walked. Sanchez opening 18, 66 pitches, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 4 walks, and a strikeout. Base hit left center field. Floyd will pick it up. Bernie says 2007. Yeah, but you might not like how that turns out, Bernie. Chad Myers is 0 for 2. He is grounded into a double play. And I don't think that's been... The enhanced cards have been done for that. MLS 2014. Talk to Gary. Myers pops up left side. Lowell straddles the foul line and will make the catch. 2 out for Sosa. Sammy is 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout and a run scored. The 72 Dolphins say hello. In the center field, Preston Wilson is there, and that will retire the side halfway home on a warm, sticky summer day here in Vermont. It's the Marlins 4, the Cubs 2. Well, if you joined us late, back from vacation, had a good one. The wife had a good birthday. We ate a lot of food and sweated a lot. Florida 4, Chicago 2. Preston Wilson with a grand slam in the first to make it 4-0 Florida. They had the bases loaded in the third and could not score, and the Cubs immediately made them pay. Rondell White, a 2-run double to make it 4-2. Jesus Sanchez, a 4-hitter through 5, has given up the 2 runs he's walked for while striking out 1. Cruz, 7-hitter through 4. He has struck out 6, but that one ball over the middle was just kaboomed. And that's how the Cubs got their, or the Marlins got their 4 runs. Cliff Floyd, 1 for 2. He scored on the Wilson Granny. Draws the walk. Contrary to popular opinion, I was not nominated for an Emmy. Dave was, but I was not. Preston Wilson has singled and homered. Is now driven in 66. Machado and Cruz have a word. Fly ball left field. This one's going to stay in the yard. White retreats to the track to make the catch. And Floyd goes back. I like 81. Mikey Lowell is 0 for 2. I've also toyed with the idea because it's done with 68. Both AFL and NFL. So what do you think about that, gang? Mike Lowell is 0 for 2. Floyd's going to go. Machado throws it down to Eric Young, and Floyd is in there with his 18th steal of the year. So the Marlins trying to extend their lead. 68 is a fun year. Ground ball, base hit, left side. Floyd will round third. Myers is going to throw the plate because in comes Floyd. See what kind of arm Myers has. It's almost ramen noodle at 2. Here comes Floyd. The throw is going to be close, and Floyd is out. Machado blocked the plate and had the ball in hand, and there's 2 out. So Lowell on first. It is 8-2 on the putout. And Millar is 1 for 2. 68 would be fun. How you doing, Mike from the truck? Millar swings. That's into right field. Sosa will make the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 6th here at Coral Gables, 4-2 Marlins. So Sanchez giving me the fatigue warning. McGriff 0 for 1. A walk and a run scored. Of course, it really won't matter as much because we'll be doing the drive-by-drive thing, but it's kind of weird. In the era of Johnny Unitas, 68 was the year that he was hurt. Pitch to McGriff. Fred draws the walk. So White the tying run. Rondell 1 for 2. He hit that 2-run double in the 4th. He is now driven in 51. Here's a ground ball to Gonzalez. Alex goes to Castillo for 1. Over to Lee for 2. And so it's a 6-4-3 double play. 2 out for Ricky Gutierrez, who is 0 for 1 with a walk. Ground ball to Castillo. Louis throws to first, and that will retire the side. So after 5.5, no runs, no hits, no errors, Courtney Duncan is going to come into pitch and probably star in an episode of Beverly Hills 90210. We go to the bottom of the 6th. It's 4-2 Florida. Courtney, 35th appearance, 1 in 4 with a save. and a 6.19 ERA. He's 26 years old, a hard fastball at 98. And a ground ball pitcher. Last pitched on the 2nd against Atlanta. In fact, he hasn't pitched in a Cub win since June 21st. He went 2 2/3 in a 9-3 loss. Went 37 pitches, allowed a hit, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. So overall, 36 1/3 innings, 47 hits, 26 runs, 25 earned, 5 homers, 24 walks, and 42 strikeouts. Here's Charles Johnson. He's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Of course, back in the late 60s, pitched to Johnson, the AFL-NFL relationship was bad. It really was a shotgun wedding, if you will. Johnson draws a 3-1 pitch low and away for ball 4. And then he'll bring up Gonzalez. Alex is 1 for 2. He is single. Mike from the truck playing Access and Allies. There's a ground ball to McGriff. Fred takes it to the bag himself for the out, and Johnson moves up to second. And so they once asked Steve Sable if he had any regrets from that era. Jesus Sanchez is going to bat here. He's 0 for 2 with a strikeout, and we'll bunt. Why not? Corners are in. Coomer, slow bounder, going to get this one, and I don't know who he's throwing to, but they got the out at third. That's going to go 5-6 on the fielder's choice. Oh. So here's Castillo, dunked 1 for 3, and struck out twice in a single. 4-2 Marlins, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th. So they asked Sable if he had any regrets for making films about that era. And he said yes. Super Bowl III. We focus way too much on Unitas coming in off the bench in garbage time. Ground ball to Young. Eric will throw to first, and that will retire the side. After 6, no runs, no hits, no errors. It's still the Marlins 4, the Cubs 2. So Coomer, Machado, and pitcher spot for the Cubbies here in the 7th. Coomer is 0 for 2. And here's a line drive in the center that's going to drop in front of Wilson, and the Cubs send the tying run to the plate. And Machado, who is 0 for 2. Up the middle, past Gonzalez for a base hit. So Coomer will hold at second. So first and second, pitcher spot up. Sanchez can be lucky if he gets out of the inning. Bill Miller, future Red Sox legend. Bill at 304, 5 homers and 21 RBI, does not have a pinch hit. And he still won't have a pinch hit. That's a ground ball to third. They might get 2. Lowell to Castillo for 1. And that's going to be a fielder's choice. So they get 1 runner out. Runners on first and third for Young. EY is 2 for 2. He is single twice and walked. So Sanchez, 27 batters, 96 pitches, 6 1/3, 6 hits. Both the runs are earned. He has walked 5 and struck out 1. Bernie says, I think it was 68. It might have been 67. When the Patriots went to New York to play the Jets, if the Patriots had won, they had a shot to play in the first Super Bowl. That would have got them in the playoffs. But Namath and the Jets put 38 up on them and beat them. And there are still people in the parking lot at Citi Field frozen to this day, probably from that game. Boomer on third, EY up the middle. Castillo, they might get 2. They'll allow the run to score. Castillo steps on the bag for 1. And is there going to be a play to first? And Young will reach, as there is no throw. So Castillo stepped on the bag, thought better of it. And it's 4-3 now. Florida with 2 out. For Chad Myers, who is 0 for 3. Obviously, Bernie's over. And Myers will pinch hit, and I can't tell you who it is. Corey Patterson. It's a good thing I know where all these buttons are. Corey Patterson, as a pinch hitter, hitting .286 with an RBI. Overall, .211, no homers, and 3 RBI. Sanchez 1 out away, getting through 7. Line drive to Castillo, and that will retire the side. Stretch time for 3, Florida. Bernie's honestly expecting some sympathy from a Giants fan about the helmet catch. Dave Weathers is 1-2 with a 3.86 ERA, making his 25th appearance. 31 years old, fastball at 91, and a ground ball pitcher. Al Davis cackling in his grave, as Scotty rightfully says. In the late 60s, the NFL realized they could not survive without Al Davis. I would agree with that, Mike. Find simulating a single baseball season and OOTP to be frustrating. It is much easier to sim a single season with action instead. I'd agree with that. Stormy Weathers, I love the name. Stormy over from the Reds, last pitched last night in a 3-2 win by the Cubs. Went an inning through 21 pitches, allowed a hit, a walk, and a strikeout. Weathers, 28 innings, 31 hits, 14 runs, 12 earned, 4 homers, 12 walks, and 20 strikeouts. I've always kind of been partial to the Rangers. And I'm a big fan of Brian Trottier, so what does that make me? Here's Derek Lee. I mean, that really... kind of rooting for the Rangers and the Islanders is kind of rooting for cats and Great Danes to live together well, you know? Here's Derek Lee. Derek 1 for 3. He has struck out, singled, and scored. Weather starts the bottom of the 7th with a fly ball in the right field that's going to drop in front of Sosa, and Derek has a single. I will say, however, I did pick up Franchise Hockey Manager with the Steam sale and enjoy it. Not as much as Gardner's enjoying it. I mean, he really, really is enjoying it. But I'm having a good time with it. Here's Cliff Floyd. Cliff 1 for 2. He is singled, stolen his 18th base, walked, and scored his 102nd run. You don't mind the Rangers yet. Floyd, it's a fly ball to right. Back goes Sosa. Will make the catch, and Lee goes back to the bag. When I was... we've talked a little bit about my hockey watching experience as a kid. Here's Preston Wilson. He hit that grand slam in the first. And those are the only 4 runs the Marlins have on the board. Weathers deals. Fly ball, left field. White moving back. Makes the catch. And Lee goes back to first. So in small town Vermont, in southern Vermont, back in the late 70s, early 80s, we did not have hockey on television. Northern Vermont, you got Hockey Night in Canada in the 38 out of Boston. But in southern Vermont, or at least where I live, we had no such luxury. And so we didn't really, A, know a lot about hockey, and B, that's back when the Islanders were king of the hill. And so we knew the name Mike Bossy. We also know the name Mike Lowell, who was 1 for 3. Weathers deals. Fly ball, right field. Sosa makes the catch, and that will retire the side. We go to the 8th here at Pro Player. It's the Marlins 4, the Cubs 3. And so Sanchez will come out. And Juan Acevedo will come in. Juan making his 18th appearance. And apparently, look, you don't see the real numbers. I looked at that 2.54 real life ERA and went, that's a pretty safe pick. No, he's 0-1 with an earned run average of 10.59. Over from the Rockies on August 7th. Fly ball plus pitcher, fastball at 92. Pitched 2 days ago against the Cubs, went a third of an inning in a 5-3 loss, 31 pitches, a run. It was not earned. He walked 3 and struck out 1. So 17 innings since coming over from the Rockies, 20 hits, 23 runs. He got rocked by the Cubs at Wrigley in that 16-12 win, and San Diego put a 5 spot on him as well. He has walked 19 and struck out 10. So Sosa, 0 for 2, has walked, struck out, and scored. 4-3 Cubs Marlins as we start the 8th. Ground ball, left side, base hit, and the tying run is on. Yeah, I find Franchise Hockey Manager 9 fun. Much more fun than I found the last version I played. Here's McGriff. Crime Dog has walked twice, scored once, and is 0 for 1. Acevedo delivers. Fly ball, right field. Back goes Millar. That ball is well struck. And this game now has the Cubs ahead. Cubs take the lead 5-4 as Acevedo has coughed up a hairball. And you got to think, when they went out to get Fred McGriff from Tampa, that's what they were thinking right there. A boom-boom offense. So Acevedo blows the save. And here's Rondell White, who was 1 for 3, is now driven in 2 and grounded into a double play. And they got to be licking their chops in both Atlanta and Philadelphia, as the Marlins' pen is about as shaky as if you bought a house on the San Andreas Fault. Nobody out for White. Again, more runs scoring with nobody out. Rondell 1 for 3. His 2-run double in the 4th made it a 4-2 ballgame. And again, you look at back to the bottom of the 3rd when Florida had the bases loaded and could not score. And DeLon DeShields, no, he's not. Draws the walk. I don't understand how DeShields can pinch run. I'll bring up Gutierrez. Ricky is 0 for 2 with a walk. Chops this one down to first. Lee, what's he going to do? He's going to tag Gutierrez for the out. So 1 away. DeShields over from Baltimore. Moves up to second. Ron Coomer is 1 for 3. He singled and scored already in this ballgame. Acevedo not pitching well at all, and that continues as that's punched into center field. DeShields with good speed is going to round third and hold. So first and third, 1 out, and the speedy Ron Coomer at first. Remember, today is opposite day. Machado 1 for 3 with a single. Acevedo deals. There's a fly ball in the corner in left. Floyd reaching over, makes the catch. DeShields will tag, and the throw goes in the infield. And it's 6-4 Chicago. So a big inning for the Cubs. Following the McGriff home run, here's Michael Tucker. He is the new center fielder in the 9-hole. Weathers will bat from the second spot. Tucker over from the Reds at 259, 5 homers and 24 RBI. Up the middle, Gonzalez takes it to second himself, and that will retire the side, but not before. The Cubs get 3, 2 on the McGriff homer on 3 hits and no errors. Bottom of the 8th at 6-4, Chicago. So Millar, Johnson, and Gonzalez to face Weathers. Millar 1 for 3. Long gone. Just ripped down the line and left in the 6-5. Weathers just kind of grooved one in there, and Millar made him pay. My goodness, that's his 20th of the year. And it's 6-5. I do not get the DeShields coming in the game move. He's a 2 and a 1, by the way, in left. Tucker a 3 and a 3 in center. I mean, there wasn't anything DeShields could do about that. So 1 out, 6-5 ball game. Here's Charles Johnson. Charles has struck out twice and walked. Weathers pitch. Line drive, first base side, and McGriff will not get it. Somebody from Hollywood will make that catch, and it's a 2-2 count to Johnson. Weathers kicks and fires into left field. DeShields dodging heavy raindrops, and that's going to hit the wall. Johnson's into second. The rain is pouring here in Miami. The wind is blowing in from right at 23. And the tying run is on second for Alex Gonzalez, who was 1 for 3. And Stormy Weathers is now weathering his own storm. And there's the rain delay that we kind of expected. So a short 21-minute delay. The wind is still howling in at 23, 68 degrees, and since we're in South Florida, the wives and girlfriends have pulled out the parkas and the hoodies. See if the Reds change their pitcher. Gonzalez is 1 for 3. The tying run is Johnson. And the Marlins, with 3 catchers on the roster, are going to pinch run Eric Owens. Nobody out. Gonzalez down to third. Coomer drives off some diamond dust, throws it over to first, and Gonzalez has retired. Owens stays put, 1 out. So the Marlins look to see who can hit a righty. And Ryan Thompson fits the bill. Ryan 8 for 33 at hitting 242, 3 doubles, 5 runs. He is hitting 250 as a pinch hitter, and I would venture to guess that would be 1 for 4. So Owens, the tying run on second, 1 out in a 6-5 game. Fly ball, left center field. Tucker coming in. Owens is going to retreat back to second. I wouldn't run. Nope. So 2 out for Louis Castillo, who is 1 for 4. He is singled, struck out twice, and scored. So Weathers staying in the ball game despite the rain delay. Cubs in the 9th, Young, pitcher spot, and Sosa, which is probably why they're keeping Weathers in. Castillo, slow chopper to second. Young in on the grass. Throws to first, and Castillo is safe on the air. Now does Owens score? Owens will score on the bad throw by Eric Young. And it's 6-6 pickup sticks Weathers shakes his head. Kyle Farnsworth coming on. We got a pitching change from Coral Gables. So Farnsworth making his 69th appearance of the year. He is 7-6 with 2 saves and an earned run average of .294. He's 25 years old, throws the slider at 96, and is a fly ball pitcher. Didn't we talk about bullpens in the early part of the ball game about when to make that switch? He got the win, did Farnsworth, 2 days ago here in Miami against the Marlins, 5-3. He went 2 innings, 39 pitches. He can throw 25 pitches tonight. A run, it was earned, 3 hits, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. 70 1/3 innings, 50 hits, 23 runs all earned. He's given up 8 homers. He's walked 20 while striking out 80. Derek Lee at the plate. Derek is 2 for 4. He has singled twice, struck out, and scored. 6-6 the score. And somehow Acevedo gets off the hook for blowing the save. Pitch to Lee. Into right center field. Castillo can fly, by the way. Tucker makes a bad play out there. Louis going to round third. He's coming in to score. And the Marlins go up 7-6 on Derek Lee's 36th double of the year. Well, not a bad way to come back from vacation, huh? You still have to navigate the top of the ninth, and that's not going to be easy for Florida. But they have pulled ahead. They have 3 here in the 8th. With 2 out, here's Cliff Floyd, 1 for 3. He has walked, singled, stolen a base, and scored. Farnsworth won't pitch to him. So 4 wide ones, and first and second now for Preston Wilson, who hit a grand slam in the first to make it 4-0. So Wilson has already had a very big day. Derek Lee on second, Cliff Floyd on first. Farnsworth deals. That's into left field, and that ball is hit well. Back goes to Shields, and that is off the wall. So Lee will score, Floyd will score, Wilson has a double, and 6 RBI on the game. And so, although we'll probably make Preston Wilson the Digital Dice MVP, those in Florida are going to give it to Weathers. My goodness, what a difference a rain delay makes. So here's Mikey Lowell. Mike is 1 for 4. 2 out. Marlins making a ton of noise here. They got a 5 spot on the board here in the 8th. To third, Coomer. And that will end the inning, baby. Yes. So allowed 1 for the Marlins, 5 runs on 4 hits and an error. We go to the top of the 9th. The Cubs need 3 to tie and 4 to go ahead. And some Mylanta time here as Antonio Alfonseca gets the call. Alfonseca in the 7 hole. Redmond, a 5 and a 5 behind the plate, will bat in the 9 hole. Alfonseca hasn't slayed a lot of dragons. He has closed the door 24 out of 33 times, 64th appearance, 5.20 ERA. He is 4-9. He is 29 years old, fastball at 89, and an extreme ground ball pitcher. He last pitched 2 nights ago against the Cubs in that 5-3 loss. 22 pitches in 1 inning. 1 hit, a run it was earned. So in 71 innings, the closer for the Marlins has allowed 103 hits. 54 runs, 41 of them earned. Isn't he the six-finger man? Well, it's obviously not giving him an advantage on the mound now, is it? John, by the way, did your tow truck show up yet? John, by the way, rooting for the Cubs as the Phillies just sit 2 games back. Al Fonseca has given up 11 homers. He has walked 15 while striking out 32. Not from the Princess Bride. No. Eric Young will lead off for the Cubs. Pitcher spot and Sammy Sosa. No truck yet. Hopefully you're sitting someplace where you're not roasting. EY is 2 for 3. He has singled twice, driven in a run and walked. Al Fonseca starts his night with a ground ball right up the box. Towards first, he throws to Lee, 1 out. So 1 away, pitcher spot up. It'll be Todd Dunwoody. Dunwoody is a pinch hitter, 224, 2 homers, and 6 RBI. Overall, 222, 4 homers, and 13 RBI. Chants in the upper deck of Let's Go Cubs rain down. Marlins fans give him a dirty look. But there's just a couple down there wondering where Dan Marino's going to come out and play. Pitch to Dunwoody. Ground ball to first. Lee has it. 2 out. And so last chance saloon time for the Cubs. And it's Sammy Sosa, who was 1 for 3. He has singled, struck out, and walked. And scored twice. He now has 98 runs on the year. Al Fonseca 1 out away have given the Marlins a very good come-from-behind win. Ground ball left side past Gonzalez for a base hit. And here's McGriff. He homered in the 8th. His 8th that's coming over from Tampa. Should you bet on the Cubs? Yes. And hello to our friends listening at the MGM National Harbor. The Marlin fan. I'll get letters, John. I'll get letters. So here's McGriff. 9-6. Last chance saloon again. Al Fonseca gets the sign and deals. Base hit right field. Millar will pick it up. Sosa will run to third. So runners on the corners and 2 out. And the tying run is Delino to Shields. Hitting 227. A home run and 6 RBI. He pinch ran in the last inning. There is RJL. What would he do if it was the Mets and the Marlins for the pennant? Letter from whom? The one Marlin fan? Billy Marlin, right? So here we go. The Shields does have some power. And really, right now, the only runner that matters to the Cubs is at the plate. Al Fonseca deals. Ground ball to Gonzalez. Over to Castillo. And the Marlins win this one 9-6. So it took a fake 3 hours and 23 minutes to play it. The Marlins 9 runs. Let me get the left on base up there. 9 runs, 13 hits, and no errors. They leave on 8. Cubs 6 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors, and they left on 8. Acevedo is going to get an undeserved win because he blew the save. He's now 1-1. Sanchez, 7 decent innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 5 walks and a strikeout. Al Fonseca with minus stuff, and you could tell, 2 hits in the 9th, but they got the save. Weathers came out of the rain delay and probably shouldn't have. That's something that an AI probably should be looking at. Gave up the big home run to Kevin Millar, but Preston Wilson drove in 6. He goes 3 for 5, and the Marlins now have a 2.5 game lead over Atlanta and Philadelphia as they are 74-65. Astro fans are happy. The Cubs fall to 72-67. play the rest of this Wednesday in baseball for you. Then I'm going to go have some lunch. All right, Scotty, glad to have you along. Dogs to walk, goats to feed. The rest of this day in baseball, the A's beat the Orioles 3-2. Corey Lytle 7-5. Maduro 1-6. Isringhausen his 33rd save. Milwaukee doubles Pittsburgh 8-4. Wright 10-8. Richie 5-15. As I gotta wait for everything else to finish. White 2-4. His 15th drives in 2. Again, let's see where my highlights are. Cincinnati beats Houston 11-8. Retzman 10-9. Malicki 1-4. Adam Dunn 2-4. 2 homers, and now is driven in 16. In fact, he had a grand slam in that one while driving in 5. The Phillies just open up. They beat the Mets 18-1. 17 hits. Doug Glanville 4-5. His 17th drives in 2. Bobby Abreu, a grand slam, drives in 5. Braves beat the Marlins, the Expos 6-4-11. Cabrera 5-2. Scanlon 0-2. Jose Vidro hits his 10th 3-4 with 2 RBI. The Blue Jays shut out the Yankees 8-0. Escobar strikes out 7, goes the distance, goes to 7-5. Roger Clemens 12-12. Cleveland beats Boston 3-2. Drees 1-1. Arroyo 6-2. Wickman picks up his 35th save. Texas beats Minnesota 10-6. Mahalik 1-0. Mays 15-8. Jones 3-4 with 2 doubles. The White Sox just can't seem to win the days that we stream. The Tigers beat them 7-2. Sparks 10-13. Wright 1-3. Easily 3-4 stolen base. Scotty got out before I could tell you that the Rockies beat the Dodgers 6-3. Thompson 3-2. Chan-Ho Park 7-12. Uribe 3-4, a triple and a double. Escobar, by the way, in that complete game for the Jays, 7 strikeouts and only allows 2 hits. Barry Bonds is 100 RBI for the year as San Francisco beats Arizona 4-2. Russ Ortiz 15-4. Kurt Schilling 16-6. Rob Den picks up his 36th save. Cardinals beat the Padres 5-4. I think I'm out of highlights. Bear is 5-5. Trevor Hoffman takes a loss. He goes to 4-7. Davis 3-3 with a double. Tampa loses to Seattle 9-2. Aaron Seeley 14-5. Roop 7-8. Brett Boone 2-4 is 34th of the year and drives in 2. And last but not least, Kansas City downs Anaheim 7-1. Chad Durbin 8-11. Valdez 4-9. Scott Spezio 3-4 on the ballgame. Tomorrow we'll have the Braves and the Cubs, because that game has a meaning for the Braves, who are 2 games behind Florida. And so we'll talk to you tomorrow at noon for the Braves and the Cubs, right here on Retro Sports Network. Have a good day, everybody, and thanks for watching.